we talked about prototyping in our last class, and we said introduction of prototyping. So can somebody unmute and tell me types of prototyping, or what do you understand by prototyping? God's love, God's favor, Kemi, Victor, what do you understand by prototyping? Anu, Michael, Musa, Musa 1 and Musa 2, Uche, what do you guys understand? Omo Lola, Francis, Confidence, what do you guys understand by prototyping? Cynthia, Choma, Chineye, Elizabeth, what did you guys understand by prototyping? So what do you, in your own understanding, what is prototyping? So explain what is prototyping so that we can start.
Hello?
I can hear you loud and clear. I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. Good afternoon. So, in simple terms, I would say prototyping is adding interactivity to your design. Different elements. It's just all about adding interactivity to your design.
Okay. Okay. Another person. Let me hear from another person. Let me hear from one more person. Okay, so I'm going to use what I said that I cannot see your name. So I'm going to say what I'm going to use what he explained. It's like adding interaction to your design of how, like adding interaction of your design of how user is going to interact with your product. More like more like allowing your user to interact with the solution you come up with. Okay, so today we are going to design. So the wireframe we did, the mid-fidelity wireframe we did. So I added colors to it. So I added colors to it. So I just added those colors. So I had to use my previous color and then came up with this. Like I said, in our next class, I'm going to do interaction for buttons. But for now, let's focus on the high fidelity and then the prototyping. So this is what I did. So let me take this off. So if you check, this is what I did. So I'm going to come up with a logo. So this is what I did. I had to use my main color for it. Yeah. So I just want it to have a sharp end. But if you don't want it to have a sharp end, you can give it a corner radius. So this is it. So I just added my colors to it. So all then my text link and then this and then this. So I only just left this way. But I'm going to pick the colors and then add it. So I'm going to add both this OTP. I'm going to add illustrations that's a good illustration, so that when I'm interacting with the product, you're going to see the font for it. So this is what I did. So now let's start with, so we've already did authentication in the mid-fidelity, and I believe everyone can create that. So let's start with the home page. So I'm going to design the home page. So I picked some of this item from community and from my old design. So I want to design a nice home page, because my previous design was just looking beginner's design. So I don't want to follow that pattern. I want to create something nice and then do interaction for it. So these are just random. If you check now, you see that these are just random images I picked. So this is my old design. So, and I just want to change the design to make it look more better. Sorry about that. So now I picked all these things from just community, and I want to make my home page to look more detailed. Now I want everybody to pay attention to this, because this is what you're going to do in your own design. So I'm going to take this out from Hot Layout. So I want to change my icon. Now I want to use one particular collection or set of icon. Like I said, I'm recommending Huge icon. So I'll be using Huge icon. So I'm going to take this out. I don't need it. So I'm going to change this. First thing first is I'm going to change this my font to the one I'm using. So I'm going to click. So I'll use the fonts I'm using. I'm using 18. Now this is where you're going to start using the fonts you use. Remember I said most the assignment I marked, only few number of persons created their local styles. Very few persons. That was why I asked that since nobody created, but only few persons actually created their local styles. So I'm going to use all my local styles because I want my typography to be consistent again, and including the color, the styles. I want everything to be consistent. So I'll be using big body text regular for the name here. So this is just a random image I picked from Google. So I've created this and then I'm going to, change this. So I'm going to change this to my font. So you can see that I'm using body text regular 16 pixels. So that is what I'm using here. So I already have my filter. I already have my search. So I'm going to change this to search. Let's search best meal. Let's do what best meal or best food or best anything. So depending on if you just want to put only search, no problem. If you want to put search, no problem. So I already have this banner here. So I already have this banner here. So I'm just going to, change. So I'm just going to change the text to be my own. So I'm just going to change the text, but it's just like an old image. So first thing, let me on my layout grid units. So I'm going to turn my layout grid. I'm going to turn it on. So once I turn it on, I'm going to put everything to fit in it. Now I'm using the layout grid I use for my authentication. So that is what I'm doing. I did not create another. I just duplicated the screen and then start creating my home page in it. Once I duplicate, now you can see that it was even a living screen. I duplicate and start creating that. So I'm going to take this inside here. So I'm going to move this here. And I don't want to create anything outside my grid. So I'm going to place this here. So I'm also going to hold this now, and then I'll just shift this here. So I'm going to hold this and bring it this way. Now, if I bring this way, now you can see that this my search icon is inside. This my search filter box is outside. So all I have to do is just to click on this search here and then reduce it. So once I reduce it, bringing it inside, you can see that it will just lap. So I'll be using height of 52 for my search height. So that is what I'm going to be using. So what I'll be using here is 52. So it's just the same way we are creating here. The same way you create your input field, that's the same way you're going to create your search button. There's no difference about it. So if you want to create, just go and look how we created the input field. It's just the same way using auto layout and then adding it effect. So I'm going to show you how to add effect for those things. So I'm going to bring this banner in here. Now I'm going to bring this banner here. So look at when we are doing our correction for the flowchart, she suggested something about having a banner, to talk about maybe welcome, adverts or stuff like that. So that is the banner. But in this case, the banner is not going to be clickable. So I'm just going to move this. Okay. Let's create a new one so that you guys will understand how to create banner. So you can either use rectangle or just image, depending how you want to create the banner. But in this aspect now, let's create this banner from scratch. What's going on now? So now let's create this banner. So we have the image. So I'm going to click on this image here. So first thing first is I want to get the desired shape. So I'm going to use rectangle to do more of like measurement. Is I want, yes. So I'm going to use rectangle to take the measurement. What is going on? Why is the Figma hanging? Okay, so and give me a sec. Let me reduce so many tabs that are open. So give me a second. So let me reduce the tab. So that is, I think it's making my design so lag. Okay. So I think I'll reduce it. Okay. So sorry about that. I have to reduce the tabs. It's making my laptop lag. Okay, so I'm going to use this rectangle to take it as more like measurements, just to place my banner. So I think what I did here is 30, but I've seen 29 somewhere here. So I'll just have to zoom in and then reduce it. Just reduce it -1. Yeah. So I'm going to take it. So what I have is 315, 152. So it's on the layout here. So I have 315 and 152. So I'm going to zoom in here. So I'm going to click on this image. Yeah. So it just random image that you can get flash.com or free pics. So both of them are free places you can get image. Some of the all free pics is actually not 100% free, but at least you can get a good number of free images here. So I'm just going to duplicate this out. So I'm just going to duplicate the image out. So once I duplicate the image out, I'm going to set it to my desired size. So what I have there is 315. I want to show you that some. This is what I have 315, and I'm going to have 152. So this is what I have 152. But 150 is actually a perfect height for it. But if you want to make it 155, no problem. 160, no problem. But the height doesn't demand a particular height number use. No. If you think it is actually okay, then you can go for it. So I think this rectangle I use for this place is actually okay for a banner because it's not going to be a clickable banner. It's just a display banner. So now let's create all this.
He said, I will go before you, and I will make those crooked places to be straight. But before that, I would like to.
So let's bring all this item. Now is get your first order at 60% off. So I'm just going to click both of them and then bring it this way. Or you can just go since it's already my old design I'm trying to modify. So I will not create most things from scratch. Okay, so most things are not going to be created from scratch. Since it's an old design, I'm trying to modify. So I'm going to bring this here. So I'm going to come to this place. I'm going to click this first one. So instead of using 16, so I'll use 14. So I'm going to use 14 medium. So then I'm going to click on the second one. I'm going to use, so this is 22 regular. So I'm going to use 18. So I need this is 18 regular. So I'm going to see if I can, let me see if 18 regular is okay. So if you're having issues like this, if you are having issues like this, maybe this space here and this space here. So what you're going to do, you're going to come to this layout here. You're going to click on this area. So once you click on this area, it's going to show you the content. So it's better for you to hug each content to make it look nice. So I'm going to also click here to make all this. So I'm going to hold these two, and then I'm going to make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, automatically I will now have to use my own brand colors. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use my brand. Since I've made both of them auto layout, I'm going to use my brand color. So I'm going to scroll, come to selected colors, click on this place. I'll use my primary color, because remember I've already set my color to my primary color. So here I'm going to use white. So I have white, and so I'm going to use my own shade of white. So I have created this here. So the next thing I want to create is dive in and only available, for new food. So dive in now, and I'm going to hold these two and then repeat the same thing I did here. I'm going to hold these two. I'm going to bring it here. So once I bring it here, I will now have to reduce the font. So this is 12 here. So 12 is actually looking, because remember we're designing with small banner. So I'm just going to use I will use 10. So if I don't have 10, I'm going to create that. So since I don't have 10, I'm going to create that. So I'm going to come here and then change this to 10. So once I make it 10, I'm going to come here, click on this. Remember to set it as the local styles like this. So I'm going to call this tiny body text. Okay, tiny is okay. So this is going to be our regular, and this is going to be 10 pixels. So I can remember the number I use. So this is what it's going to look like. So I'll come here and repeat the same way of using my own color. So I'm going to place it here. So I'm going to place it here, and then I'm going to make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, so I'm going to come here to, so I notice that there's space here. So I'm going to reduce the space. So I'm going to reduce the space. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to remove this padding. I'll make it 0 here, and then I'll drag it this way. So I'm going to also remove the padding at the top. Now there's space at the top. So let me zoom so you see the space. There's space at the top here and there's space. So I'm going to take it out. I don't need those space. So this is what I'm going to have. So I'm going to bring it here. So now I'll check the space here. So the space here is 15. So I'll make it 10. So I'll make it 10. Then I'll come to this place. I'll click on this particular frame, this particular text frame. Now I notice I just click on the text. So I'm going to click on the frame itself. So now I can see that I mistakenly click on the text. So I'm going to click on the frame, and then I'm going to check it. So I want it 10, so I'm going to hold it and make it 10. And then I will hold these two together, and then I'll make it auto layout. So I'm going to make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, it is now 1. So once it's 1, it's now 1. So I'm going to check the space between them. So I'm going to check. So you can see that it's 10, 10, and the bottom is 10. So I think I'm okay with this. So now this tiny text, I need this tiny text here. So this tiny text here, I need this tiny text. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create this tiny text. So let's create new one from scratch. So you can see that it's actually linear. So let's create new one from scratch. So I'm going to come to this and then click here and then type offer. So this is it. So I'm going to place it 64, but 64 is actually too big. So what I'm going to use 54. Now I'm going to come to this place. So let's create it outside first. So I'm trying to recreate this offer. So I'm going to come to this place, and then I'm going to come to this place that says Lina here. Some gradient. Before it was Lina, so now I'm going to click on that say gradient. So once I create gradient, the setting is actually going to change. So once it changes, this is how it's going to look like. So how do you want to place the gradients? So this is it. So you can choose how you want to set it. But I think I'm going to work with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this 100. So I'm going to set this 100. And I'm going to set this at 0. So I'm going to make this. So I'm going to make it can switch. So I'm going to make it can switch. I don't want it to switch, so I'm going to leave it that same setting that Figma gave to me. So what I will just do, I'll just have to undo. So this is it. I'll just have to undo. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick this my color. So I'm going to click on this color here. So and then I'll select my color. You can see that this will give you all the colors on that page. So I'm going to select this color. So I'm just going to make it a bit, lighter. And then this color, I'm going to use the same color, but now I have to bring down the opacity very, very low. Like I'll bring it almost to 0. Almost to 0. So what I'm using here is 5. So I'm going to turn this off to close this. So I'm going to bring this offer here. So I'm going to bring it here. So I'm going to place it at the center. So I'm going to here you have 89 and here I have 96. So I'm going to place it at the center. So I think it's an odd number. That's why it's not giving me equal. But I think this is in center like this. So I'm just going to bring it down here. So bring it down here. So once I bring it down like this, so now let's make it to look a bit lighter. So now this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to play around with the colors. So I'm going to come to this place. I'm going to take this guy up a little. So I'm going to take this here. And I'm going to come to this place. And then I'll move this guy here so that I can see the color. So I'm going to play around with the opacity. So either you play around with the opacity like this or the comment. So I think the best way I'm going to work with this is like this. Then I'm going to come in with the opacity. I'm going to close everything. So once you're done with this screen, so I think 54 is actually big. So I'm going to use 48. Yeah, I think 48 is better. So I'm going to place now. I'm going to hold this and I'm going to hold this now. Remember, like I said, your banner don't have to be this way. Your banner is not composed that your banner must be this way. So I'm going to hold these two and then I'm going to make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, you will see that the offer text is going to go at the top. Now you can see that it has scattered. Now I want it to be that same way that I place it. So what I have to do is just to bring this guy here like this. You can come here to adjust it, but just remember that it's going to be in minus. I think I'll have to use minus 30. So this is okay. So I'm going to hold this guy, the image here, and I'm going to hold this image and this, and I'm going to make it in auto layout. So I'm just going to auto layout is either you do Shift A, or you click right click and then come here to click Shift A. So if you make them in auto layout, this is how it's going to look. It's going to look like it's going to scatter. It's going to be in scatter format. So you don't need to panic or you don't need to be worried. So it shows that this image cannot be in auto layout. So all you have to do, so once you undo, then you just put them in a frame. So don't group them, put them in a frame. So once you put them in a frame, this is how it's going to look like. So once I put them in a frame, I will now have to, come to this place and then bring it inside here. So I'm going to place them at the center and then take out that rectangle. I'm going to place them at the center, move these and move them to the top, and then I'll delete my rectangle. So I'll delete my rectangle. Now, before we continue, let's create our bottom navigation. Now, what is the bottom navigation? Bottom navigation are those icons that most of you will get a comment when I say, the bottom navigation is too big. Please reduce it. Those. Let me show you its image. So this is our bottom navigation. This is a bottom navigation. So we're going to create a bottom navigation using which icon. So I'm going to place this here, frame here. So I want to work inside this frame. My background is actually a dark background, and my background is dark background. I don't want to start looking for my icon. So I'm just going to do a customized frame. So I already have home icon here. So I'm just going to bring it here. So I'm going to use, guys, give me a second. Let me end, please. Just give me a second. Okay, let's continue. Sorry about that. The heat is killing, so I had to. Okay, so let's create the bottom navigation. Let's create the bottom navigation. So we already have the home icon. So I'm going to add them with a text. So I'm going to write home. So now my icon is actually too big. So I'm going to use 10. Let's see 10. Okay, I think 10 is actually okay. So I'm going to hold these two together. I'm going to make it auto out. So once I make it auto together, I'm going to add padding of 5. So just to have it padding between the left and the right. So I'm going to hold this like this. So I'm going to hold this and then come to this auto layout and then place it at the center. So I'm just going to leave this here. So I'm going to drag. So I'm just going to come here and drag this like this. So this is what I have. So I'm going to create. So I'm going to have home. I'm going to have okay, so I want you guys to unmute and give me your suggestion. What do you think? What text or how do you want the bottom navigation? What content or text do you want the bottom navigation to have? So I want you to hear suggestion from me, people. Can you guys hear me? So how many do you think we should have? Should they have 7? Should they have 8? Should they have 9? Should they have 4? Should they have 2, 5? So, and if you should have those numbers, you're going to list them for me.
4 is fine. I think 4 is one.
Okay, Anu said 4. So what are they going to like the 4 of them? So list them. We already have homes. So list the remaining 3.
Home, category, um, cat.
We have cats. You said home, category, cats, and
Yeah. Profile, maybe profile.
okay. Okay. So in my own suggestion, I think I'm going to have. Can you mute now? Thank you. So I think in my own suggestion, I'm going to have home, favorites, carts, shopping carts, and then settings. So I'm going to call this. So I'm going to just duplicate this quickly into 4. It can be 5. It can be 5. I noticed that some persons added search. It can be 5, but I don't want to add category in my bottom navigation because I already have category as a slider on the top. So I'm going to design that one. But for now, let me design the bottom navigation. So this is going to be favorites. What I mean favorite is list of all the food that you've liked. You don't have money, but you just like that you're going to try it someday. For example, I don't have money to buy amala and we do right now, but I'm just going to say, oh, I'm going to favorite this, add this to my wish list, add this to my save item that I'm going to try out someday. So this is going to be favorite. Sorry, favorite. Or maybe food that you've already, maybe you're a fan of jollof rice, party jollof rice, and it's kind of food that you order always. So this is going to be cats. So I will say cats. Okay. So let's see if food cats is going to the right up is going to be small, but it's going to be too much. So I will just use cat or food basket or basket. So let's use the word basket. So I'm going to use the word as basket. So I'll use basket. And then this I'm going to call it settings because I want my image. I want my image from the home page to be clickable. So automatically, once I click it, it takes me to the profile page. Once I click on settings, it always also take me to the settings page. So I'm going to now get icons for this. So let's quickly get icon before we can now adjust it. So I'm going to go to my, so I'm using which icon. So I'm going to right click. Hold on guys, give me. Yeah. Can you guys hear me now? Can you?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I have something to say. Our design we did just got deleted. It's gone. So I'm going to create a new one from scratch. Okay, so let's get our icon, the home, love, baskets, and settings. So I'm going to use Iconify. Okay, so let's wait for it to load. So I'll use which icon. So I'm going to click it. So I'm going to come to the second one. I'll type home. So this was the one we used before, right? So I'm going to drag it in here. Yeah. So I'll be sure that it has been pasted before. It has been pasted. So I'm going to come here and say favorite. So I'll be using, I think I'll use this one. Yeah, so the next one is going to be settings. I'm going to use this one. So the next one is going to be cats. So I'm using baskets instead of cat. So I'll be using food baskets. So I think I'll use this this one. I like this one. Or should I use this? Or should I use? Okay, now I'm going to. I'm getting confused. I'm going to use. Let's use this one. So I'm going to drag it. So you can see how I'm just tap and drag, or you come here import as component, or you come here import as frame. But to me, I feel you should import it the way you want, and then you can now play around with it. Okay, so let's continue because the other one got deleted when I'm trying to restart my system. Okay, so I've gotten the 4 that I want. If I want any other icon, I'm going to, bring it. So this is what I want. So I'm just going to come here. So I'm going to create those things from scratch. So I'll come here. So I'll click on text. I'll come here. I will just type it. So I'm going to, what's going on? So I'm going to type home. So already have my tiny. So I'm just going to come here, bring this here. So I'm going to hold this together. So I'm going to just duplicate this text before playing around with it. So I'm just going to take this one. Yeah, and just like more like duplicating so that now when I've worked totally I can now drag it, not to make mistake and just not instead of duplicating, I'll just go and drag it. So I'm going to keep this here, set it aside. So the next one, so which one is going to follow up? Now favorite is actually going to follow up. So I'm going to click on this icon here and bring it up here. So I'm going to hold this and then let's duplicate it at once. So one for this. Let's share the assets and one for this. Yeah. So I'm going to carry this one. I'll bring it under here. So I'm going to name it favorite. Okay, I've already duplicated. I wanted to duplicate another one. So the next one that comes is going to be basket. So ignore that favorite and double click favorite. So this is going to be basket. Yeah. So and this is going to be settings. So settings with S. So this is what I have. So I've already done this auto layout. So if I do auto layout, I'm having spacing between them is going to be 10. So I'm going to hold this and this. Now, if you're working with your favorite, your icon, don't forget, don't click on the grouping. Make sure, or the vector, make sure you're clicking on the frame that has the name of the icon. Remember, don't forget. And my icon I'm using icon size of 24/24. It's actually a perfect icon size for me, and not for me alone, but it's actually a perfect icon size for mobile, for mobile view or mobile app. So that is why I'm using 24, which is actually a perfect icon size. So I'm just going to hold this and then hold this and then make it auto layout. So I'm going to do the same thing here and here and then make it auto layout. So I'm going to drag this one here. I'm also going to bring this one here. So I'm going to hold the 4. So I'm going to highlight the 4 of them. So I'm going to highlight the 4 of them and work with the settings the same way. So I'm going to move them to the top here. And then I'm going to say, make me place them at the center here so that all of them will work at the same way. So I'm going to say, let me use, I like this one. So I think I like the size of settings, which is like the width is 40. So I'm going to go back and highlight all of them. Okay, I think the biggest one is 43. So I'm going to use 43 for all of them. So I'll highlight all of them. I'm going to highlight the 4 of them and then make the width. Now I'm going to make the width, like the width spacing to be 43. So I just picked the one that has the highest number, which is the 43. So I'm going to use 43. And the height, so yes, the spacing between each of them is going to be 5. So this is 5. And then this one is actually big, but I'm going to reduce it. So this is actually in fee, so I'm going to remove it. So I'm going to use so let's see what this one already have. So this is 39, so I'll be using 40. So I'm going to work on this home that actually did not correspond with this one. So I'm going to work with 40 or 45. So this is going to be 45. Okay, let's make it 40. 45 is actually too big. Let's make it 40. So I'm going to work on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to this place. Now pick the number. I'm going to open it now. I'm going to work on the icon. So I'm going to come to this place and then work on the icon. I'm trying to click on only the icon. So I'm going to come here now. I'm going to click on this place now. So this is in field, happens that way. So this is 24. Yeah. So you can see that I've worked on that. So I'm going to hold all of them and make sure that they have all the settings are of the same. So the width of all of them is 43 and the height is 40 and the spacing between, you can see where the spacing now is 5, which is okay for me. So I'm going to make them auto layout. So once I make them auto layout, then I'm going to come back to this place. So I want to know the particular frame size that I'm using, not to make mistake. So I think I'm using 375. So I'm using 375 for it. Yeah, 375, and the I'm using 375, and the margin between them is 30. So I'm going to come back to this place. I'm going to click here. So I'm using 375. So I'll just come to, since I've already made them in auto layout, I'm just going to play around everything in automate and then make it 375. Now, this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to come to this place now and then make it auto. So I'm going to put it auto so that it just automatically adjust itself. Now the padding is 30. So the margin I'm using is 30 for, I'm using 30 for this my frame. But for padding, so what I'm just going to add in padding, I'm going to add it 30. So once I add padding for this size is going to be. Now for the normal height, I want the height to be, visible, good enough. So what I'm going to use, I'm going to add, make it 60, add extra 20, and then make it 60. So once I make this 60, this is how it's going to look like. Now I want this my bottom navigation to have something like it is on top of the screen. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a fill. I'm going to add a fill to it. So once I add a fill, now I'm going to take out this frame. Remember I was doing it on a white background just to see what I'm doing. But since I've added a fill, I'm going to take the frame out. So once I take the frame out, please. So now this is how it look like. So once I take the frame out, this is how it's going to be now. So I want this to be look like it's on top of my phone frame. So let me bring it inside here. What is going on? I don't know. My Figma is just lagging. I don't know if I'm the only one suffering this. See. Look at. This new update they're trying to make, I think, is affecting my own account. I don't know. I'm not using the app, I'm using the browser, but it's still lagging. So I'm just going to zoom in and then inside my frame. Yeah. So now I'm going to bring it inside my frame. So I'm just going to place it at any position because my frame is long because I want my home page to be scrollable, long scrollable. So what I'm going to do now, this is what I'm going to just align it center. So I want, like, what I'm trying to explain. I don't, if you look at this like this, it's just flat. I don't want it to be flat. I want it to look like as if it's on top. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add, I think this 60 actually is small. So I think I will have to make it 100. So let's make it 100. So I think 100 is better. Okay, let's make it 90. Let's take out 10. So 100 is better. So I'm just going to, add this. I'm not going to place it at the center. So I'm just going to, make it this way. Yeah. So then the next thing I'm going to make this place corner radius, not all, just here. So I'm going to come to I'm going to come to I think I'm confused here. Where is it? Sorry, seat appearance here. So I'm going to click on this here. Yeah, corner radius. So I'm going to click on this here. Now, when I click here, I'm just going to make this place 30, like the left top and the right top. So that's the only place I'm going to play around with corner radius. So just the left and the right top. So this is going to be 30. Yeah. So once I make it 30 now, I'm going to, as I'm done, I'm going to come to this place. Now remember I said I want to make it to look as if it's on top. So I'm going to come here and add effects. So I'm going to click on this plus sign. So once I click on this plus sign, now you see that the effect will only work for the down. I don't want it down. And I want it, all I have to do is just to add minus to this 4. So I'll just add minus and it will just move to the top. But I don't want it to look so dark like this. So I'm going to play around with the color. So I'm going to click on it. And when I click on it, so I'm going to just come to this place and then play around with the color. So once I play around with the color, I'm going to come here and play around with the opacity. So I'm going to reduce the opacity. So now you can see that what I wanted is now coming out in place. So I'm going to leave it this way. Now I'm going to make the blur to be, let's make it 8. I think 8 is, let's play around with the color. I think 8 is making it look like it's going away. So I'm going to increase the opacity. Yeah, I think this is better. So this is too much. So I'm going to use 15. So you can see that the 30 is too much. So I'm going to use 15 for it. So if you choose to make your own corner radius, fine. If you choose not to make it corner radius, you can leave it plain like that. The choice is there. It's not compulsory. Okay. So now I've made this 15. This is what I want. And now you can see that the padding between the left and the right. In auto layout, the space that we call for grid, remember with grid we call it margin. But for auto layout, we call it left and right padding or top and bottom padding. So this is what I'll be able to achieve this. So let's play around small with just small components. So now imagine this is just like visible this way. Now it's not showing which of the screen I am. Like when I'm saying that I am on a screen that is on the home screen, it should tell me that I am on the home screen. I am on the favorite screen. It should tell me that I am on the favorite screen. So what I'm going to do now, remember I've not picked our going to. I'm going to hold this. So I'm going to hold these guys here and then select instead of making now. Remember, it's just the dummy color that icon gave to us. Iconify gave to us. So I'm going to use gray 1. Okay, say gray 1 is looking more active. So I'm going to use gray 2. So once I use gray 2, so my home. Remember, I'm designing the home screen. So home is going to be my primary color. So the home is going to be my primary color. And then I'm going to make this text. Remember, we are using regular. So I'm going to use, so I'm going to click. You're going to click until it gives you arrow for. Remember, everything is in auto layer. That's why it's giving me this. So I'm going to click out and then come back and click again. So I'm going to click multiple times to get to the text. Now, remember, we did not create tiny text for medium. Remember, we will not create for medium. So since we did not create for medium, I'm going to take this out and then replace this to medium. But remember, in your own case, you're going to create for it. So I'm just going to show that it is like I am a user is visible, like it's active on the home page, like the user is on the home page. So this is what I have. So I'm going to create all this in components. Now all I have to do is not to create new ones. So I'm just going to create them in components. So I'm going to scroll up. Now this is what this is how the icon for component look like. Or you can right click and then look for create components. So I'm going to create this in components. So it's not showing here. So I'm just going to click this place. So I'm going to click here. So I'm going to click here. Now I've clicked. So I've clicked, sorry, I'm not supposed to turn this. So I've clicked, give me a second, let me turn off the gender, just got the light. Okay, let's continue. Sorry about that. So I've created this in components. Now I want now I've created this in components. I should be able to tell, like if I'm designing favorite screen, instead of creating this again or playing around with this adjustment again. So all I have to do now, I'm going to create a variant. So first thing first, I'm going to create and rename it. So I'm going to click on this one that say default. So I'm going to call this home. So I'm going to say this is home. So I'm going to now play around with this same thing I did. I'm going to show that this is like active screen or phone. So what I'll have to do is just to quickly, I'm going to quickly undo it. So I'm going to come here again. So it's either you come back here and click on this plus sign at the top here, or you come here. So I think I'll just have, instead of scrolling back to this place, I'll just have to click here. So once I click here, automatically it duplicates. So once it duplicates, so it's showing me that there's two variants that is of the same way. So I'm going to rename this to favorite. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to come to this place. So instead of renaming it here and renaming here, which is the right thing to do, but I'm just going to rename it as this part here and just ignore this one. But the right way is to rename your layers and also commit to rename it. So let me rename this one as home. So I'm going to double click, just double click, and so if I double click, I'm just going to come here and say home. And I'm going to click on this one, and then instead of frame, to just double click, and this is going to be favorite. And then I'm going to call this so this is going to be baskets. So I'm going to quickly do that same thing I did for favorite. So I'm just going to come here and change this quickly. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just going to repeat the same process for setting, and then we move on to the next stage. You see why creating local styles is so good. It will make it will just make you design very fast. Now you can see that we are done with our components. So we are done with our component. So this is the only component we are going to do here. So we are done with the component. Don't worry, now in our next class we're going to go deep into components. So this is what we have now. So now I'm just going to now leave these guys here. Now let's work on our let's work. Okay, so let's go and get bell icon. Let's know that we are done with this part at the top. So let's get bell icon. So remember, I'm using which icon collection. So you're just going to resume the last thing that I did. So let's get bell icon. Let's know that we are done with that part. This is the bell I'm seeing here. So I actually need which icon doesn't have bell icon. So I'm just going to repeat this one here. Remember, which icon is actually a paid icon, but I think they gave us 4,000 something free access. But they have over, I don't know how many 100,000 they have, but they have a lot of icon, a lot. Like trust me, if you go through their website, they have a lot of icon. But just know that you're going to pay to have access to those premium icon, free icon that they give to us. So I'm just going to hold this here and this, and then make it up to the out. So once I make it up to the out, I can see that there's small space here. So I'm just going to come to this place. I'm going to click on Cut. Yeah. So this is what I'm going to have here. Yeah. So now let's create our category. So I won't be using this particular one, but okay. I think this is nice. So I'm just going to use this particular one. Now let me show you what is this. So this is just rectangle. Okay, let's not use this one. It's more, looking more advanced. So let's just go to creating the simple one. So let's use this my old one. So this is more like I'm going to create a new one. So this is more like the same way I did while creating those okay, so let me take this out from auto layout and create one from fresh so that you guys know how it is being done. So I'm going to duplicate the snaps. So I'm going to duplicate the snaps. So let me duplicate the snaps and create one. So you just rectangle image, take out the background image, and then text. So this is what I am. So I'm going to take this out from auto layout. So I want to remove from auto layout. Let me create new one so that you see how it is being done. So this is how just a rectangle. So just rectangle and a random image. Then I use image from Google. So yeah, well, I'm just going to take out these snacks here. So let's look for soup. Let's look for soup image. So I'm just going to search for soup. Let's search for random search for okay, let's use soup in Nigeria. So I'm going to come to image. Okay. Well, so I will use, okay, let's use this particular one. So I'm just going to copy the and come to here. So this image is actually not, is blur. So let's get a clear image now. So you can go to free speak, but I just want to use random image from Google. So I'm just going to click here to get, clear picture of it. So I will allow it to load finish. Now look at the clear picture. So I'm just going to copy it. But don't follow this pattern. I'm just doing it based on, there's no time and all. So now this is a clear image. So now I want to remove image. So I want to remove the background image. So Figma just released a new pattern for us to just remove. Before we normally use plugin to remove background image, but now Figma just made it for us to remove the background image. But this my particular account does not have the ability to remove background image. You must have to, use the plugin. For my other account, educational account, my other account that I have, I'm using education plan. I have the ability to just click here and it will remove the image. But since we are using an account like this, a free account, so we are going to use the plugin to remove the image. So I'm going to come right click. So when I right click, I'm going to, okay, since I don't have the plugin saved, I'm going to come to this place to search for remove BG. So I'm going to, I know most of us already have heard of remove BG. So I'm going to come to here and search for remove BG. Remove BG means, but in case of enter and making a statement and say your BG is too dark or just know that it's background, it means background. Remove BG. So this is it's this particular one. I don't know why the image is not loading. This is this one. This is the one you use, this one. So you just click on it and then you can run or save it. For now, I'm just going to run it. So it's going to tell me to set API keys. So I'm going to set the API keys first before I can use it. So this is it. So I'm just going to come here and click on set API keys. So it will tell me, it will give me the instruction how I'm going to set it. Now it will tell you go to the website, create a free account. You need to confirm your email. After that, you can find your API keys. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. Now this is how to do it. You click on it to open another tab for you. So it's going to open another tab. So while it's opening another tab, let me quickly, open my email too. So let me open my email. So while it's loading, I'm going to open my email. It's going to tell me to create an account. So I'm going to click here to create an account. So if you follow this pattern of uploading and it will just reduce the quality of your image. Remember we actually copy this image from Google and the quality has already dropped by 1%. And then you download the image, that's reduced again. You upload here, that's reduced again, you download it. You just keep dropping your quality of image. So let's create an account. So I'm going to sign up. I don't have an account with this particular image, so I'm going to sign up. Now I'm going to follow the process that we as a newbie are going to follow. So I'm going to create an account. So let's create an account. Let's open this. So I'm just going to keep my email active like this. So let's create an account so that we can verify the email. Can you hear me now? Please, so if I ask a question on mute, so please. So I'm going to sign up. So I'm going to sign up using my Google. Now it's telling me that I've already signed in. So let's go back to Figma. So they said you have to confirm your email. After that, you receive an API keys. So let me confirm my email. So I'm going to refresh. So I think they've done that. So I'm going to go to my, you already signed in. So I'm going to come to here. I'm going to go to my account settings. Sorry, my dashboard settings. So I'll come to my, how is it this way? Okay, so let's come to this place. I wanted to follow through their dashboard, but let's click on this that you just, take us to this API keys. So I successfully sign in. So I'm going to copy my API keys here. Did they change their pattern? I don't want to upload. I don't want to upload. I don't want to upload to reduce the quality. So I'm just going to see if I can to take me to their dashboard instead of telling me to upload. So this is how it's going to be if you click what's going on now. So API keys. Now it's telling me to create new API key. So I'm going to create now. Telling me the time and date. So I'm going to say create API keys. Now this is the API key that we added. I'm going to copy this here and then come to this place and then paste it. So once I paste it and save, automatically I've created an API key. So I don't have to go through downloading, uploading and all. All I have to do is just to come here and then click on run. It will automatically load and then remove the bridging. So remember, plugin actually work when your data is actually, strong. You have a strong network. If you're having a shaky, if your network is bad, your plugin is actually not going to. So this is how it's going to look like. So instead of downloading, uploading, you can reduce images. So I'm going to reduce this to small size. So now this is where I'm going to play around with my scale, not to mess up my image shape. So I'm going to come here, click on scale. So I'm going to use scale or just click on K and then I will reduce it this way. So I'm going to bring it here. So once I'm done with the desired shape I want, so I'm just going to click this cancel here. So once I click cancel, it will turn automatically to move. So I'm just going to drag this inside this image here. So I'm going to place it at the center. So it automatically is inside the frame or rectangle. So I'm going to place it at the center now. I see that it's at the center. So I'm going to hold these two together and then make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, I'm going to get this shape. I notice that it's now bigger. So the shape is so this is 60, 50. So I'm going to hold this here and then make it 60, 50. Width is 60 and height is 50. So I'm just going to make this to 50 and then I'm going to place this image to be at the center. So this is how it's going to be at the center, and then I'll call this soup. So category is different categories of soup. Egusi, ogbono, ofu onugbu, ofe ede. I don't know much of other native soup. I'm an Igbo girl, so I know more of Igbo soup. So I'm just going to call this soup and then help this text here. So I'm going to change. I notice I wrote dish here. So I'm just going to clean this and maybe call it rice. So category of rice, we have jollof rice, we have coconut rice, we have rice and stew, we have rice and then pepper soup and all. So I'm just going to pour this rice. I'm just going to put these fruits. I'm going to put these drinks. I'm just going to put these ice creams. I'm going to put these snacks. Put this soup. So I'm just going to hold these two now and then or make it auto. So this same way I created it, this is how I'm going to create this, just reduce to your desired image. Remember when we are creating on board and I told you there is no particular width or height for image. There are sometimes your images you will get might be in form of rectangle. Sometimes it might be in form of square. So as long as you know how to place the image very, very, just use your initiative and just know that, okay, I'm okay with this size. Now you can see that when I created this, I did not put any desired number. Okay, I picked number from this. Now you can see that this one is in rectangle. Why this is actually in square. This is in rectangle format. This is rectangle as well. This is rectangle. This should be rectangle. This is rectangle. So you can see that some of the images might come in rectangle, some of them might come in square. So there's no particular number that all your images must be of this size. No. But all you don't have to do as a designer, just look at it, use your initiative and just, make it to be of the same size. But for icon, button, input field, your alignment and spaces, just know that it has a particular number for it. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to hold all of them. So I'm going to hold all of them and then make it, I'm going to place them in form of auto layout. So did I put this? Okay, fast food. So I'm going to make it auto layout. So once I made it auto layout, I just want to use the auto layout to arrange it very well. So let's do it this way. So I'm going to use auto layout to arrange it very well. So the spacing between is 19. Is 19 okay? Let's make it 10. I think 19 is too much. So I'm going to drag it now to this place. So I think the banner should be there, or maybe we can do maybe we have the search, we have category, we have banner, we have the chat, just depending how you want your user experience to look like. So it's not compulsory that this must be this or this must be here. So this is how it's going to look like here, like this. So I don't want this to cross here. I think this is okay. I want it to have search bar, banner, and then category. So I'm going to get my text here. I'm going to place it here and call this categories. So this is going to be categories. Categories or food categories. Let's call it food categories. I'm going to use 10 because 10 is actually looking tiny. So I think I will use 14. Okay, no, 16. Sorry, I'm going to use 16. So it's because 14 is actually going to make it look small because of the choice of fonts I'm using. So I'm going to use 16 here. So 16 is going to be here like this here. So I'm going to duplicate this to make it, if you want to add view or if you want to put it in form of list, you can add view, but if you don't want to put it in form of list, you can just leave it this way. So I'm just going to take this out. So I'm just going to take this out, and now I'm going to adjust this pattern. So let me adjust. It's actually right that it's actually scrolled to this end, which is not a bad thing. So I'm just going to adjust this. So I'm going to now take it out because I want to make it prototype. I want, if I make prototype it should be able to move left and right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to reduce it this way, like this, up to this place that I did not do anything. The only thing I did was just to drag the frame to get to this point. To be, it's now if I click out like this now and use my Alt, now you can see that the space between this frame, like how do I explain this now? Like the food category book card, I've put them in auto layout, I've made them the way I want, I've arranged it. Now I've put them in a card called auto layout. And now the auto layout, I want to make the auto layout to swipe to the left and also swipe to the right in prototyping. So I'll now put it in the form of display for my design like this. So I think I'm okay with this. I'm going to leave it. Now the next part I'm going to do is just to get this. So I'm just going to use this images here, or you can create your own in card format. But I'm just going to. So most of the videos I sent to you, we teach you how to create all this card. We teach you how to create all this card. So I'm just going to use this. So I'm just going to play around with it. But remember that I said you will teach you how to place, how to make this like 1-1 each. So let me just arrange all the card. So let's arrange all the card. So I think these images are actually locked. So I'm just going to open it so that I can play around with it. So I'm going to scroll to open them. So I'm just going to, because of time, I'm just going to quickly place everything in frame. So I'm just going to make everything in frame. So we're using frames part, so I won't use auto layout. I'm going to use frame selection. Now there's no reason why I'm using auto layout. There's no reason why I'm using frame. I just want to do it because of time. Now you can see that most of my design I'm not using grouping, because grouping is stressful. So in our next class, I'm going to show you how to create button using auto layout only. Then I will show you the difference between creating your button in frame, creating your button in grouping, and creating your button auto layout. And then you use your hand. You guys are going to use your hand to choose which one is good or is right or is better or is easy to create with. Auto layout, grouping, framing, you're going to use your hand and do that. Something is not right here. I said it. Something is not right here. Yeah, it shows that the logo is outside. Oh God, what's going on with Figma now? Something is locked, or I'll have to open it. So once a file, an element is locked, you can't do anything until you have to go and unlock it before you can work on it. So that was why I had to open those rectangle that were locked. So I'm going to frame all this quickly and then we'll move to the next step. Okay, so I'm done with this. So I'm going to do this company. So I'm going to highlight all of them. So I'm going to place them in auto layout. So once I place it in auto layout, this is how it's going to look like. So once I place it out, this is how it's going to look like. So I'm going to place it at the center here. And I think I'm okay with the spacing 19. So I'm going to drag it inside my phone frame. So I'm going to do text and call it maybe popular restaurants. So I'm going to check the space between here and here. So I have 13. I'm going to check this here. So I have 37. So I'm just going to take it down. Let's use 15. So I'm going to hold this and then push it up a little. So I have 43 between the space. So let's make it 40. So here I'm going to, since I'm okay with this number here, so I'm going to reduce this, allowing it to be very long this way. So I'm going to reduce it to percent. So I think it's 313. So I'm just going to come here, and then drag it this way. Now this is what happens. So I'm going to take it out. So I'm going to bring this out here. So let me come to this place and then type the number 315. Sorry. Now the reason why it did not correspond was because, can somebody tell me why the reason why it does not correspond like the food category? Let me see if you guys are actually following up. Can somebody tell me the reason why it did not correspond? There's a reason for something. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Is there only one person that's in this class?
Yes. Okay.
Please, those of you on this Figma part, nobody should copy this design. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Is it just one person that is in the class? I asked a question. Nobody answered. I asked, can you guys hear me? Nobody answered me. All right. So let's continue. Rose, can you hear me? Aminat, can you hear me?
Yes, ma, I can hear you, ma.
I can hear you now.
You can hear me now. You can hear me now.
Yes, ma, I can hear you, ma.
You can hear me now.
Yes, ma.
Now.
No, I've been hearing you before now.
I've been hearing you.
do you understand what I'm trying to do? Rose, do you understand what I'm trying to do?
Yes, ma.
What am I trying
Yes,
to do?
ma.
What am I trying to do?
I think you're trying to give us this description of the price, the time the product is going to get to us.
No, I mean this particular frame.
Okay.
But we are hearing me. So what am I trying to do?
Ma, do you mean the red dot?
I mean this particular card. This is a card. So what am I trying to do?
Okay, I think you're trying to create based on opinion, I think you're trying to create like a time frame that one can order for this, like get this thing, this particular hot buns. So you're showing us what it will look like and details of how much it costs and how many minutes it will take to be ready or get to.
So who answered this question? AB. So people that have been on this call, that when I ask, can you hear me, that didn't say anything. So Ugochukwu, can you hear me? Ugochukwu, can you hear me?
It's breaking.
Ugochukwu, can you hear me? So what I'm trying to create here, I'm trying to create a food card or a restaurant card. So that is what I'm trying to create here. Please, whenever I ask, can you hear me? There's no big deal for you to unmute and say, yes, I can hear you. Instead of typing it to make me take me out here. And by the time I bring up this, it will block the entire. So you have the ability to unmute and say, yes, I can hear you. Please. Instead of keeping me quiet and making me start seeing if the fault is from my end. Please, I'm begging. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
ma.
ma.
So what I'm trying to create, I'm trying to recreate this. So that is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to recreate this, but I don't need this plus icon. So I'm just trying to create a food card, and then I'll duplicate it and make it interactive. So that is what I'm trying to do. I'm going to place it at the center now. So I want it to be, so I'm going to take 3 out. So it's going to be 285. So I'm going to place it at the center now. Then I'm going to hold this image. Then make it also layer. So I'll make it auto layout. But I think if I make it auto layout, okay, balance the way I want. So this is how it's going to look like. And then I'm going to hold this card and then make it auto layout. So I'm not going to add this plus sign. So I'm not going to add this plus sign because I just want users to, if you want, the plus sign means you're adding to cart, but I'm not going to add this plus sign. So I want them to read this is not my own at the top. I want users to, read this description before, adding to cart. So that is my own idea. And that is the solution I'm trying to create here. So I'm going to make these hot bonds to be in colored. So I'm going to make it to my primary color. So I have created my food card. So I'm going to these ones. So I'm going to delete all this. But you can hear me. Okay, so let's continue. So I'm going to duplicate this here. Let me call this special snacks. So now if I turn off this layer, you can see that the card is just going to be flat. Yeah. I don't want it to be flat, not layout grid. If I turn it off, you see that this card is just flat. Yeah. I don't want it to be flat. So all I'm going to do now, I'm going to click on it. I'm going to give it like a shadow. So the same effects. So I just want to make it to be like is on top. So I'm going to give it corner radius of, let's give it corner radius of round corners. Let's give it 5. And let's play around with the opacity. So I'm going to play around with this opacity here. So I'll just move it. I'll take it away from it, just play around with the opacity. I don't want the card to be flat. I'm just going to bring this here. Just reduce it a little. I think 8 is better. And then take up, not to be the main black. Just take it, so another shade of black. Yeah, so for X, I think I'm okay like this. Yeah, so This is it. This is what I want. So I don't want it a flat plate like that. So I don't want the card to just be flat like a flat plate. So I just want to add it a little shadow. So this is what I've created. So I think this, okay, the 5 is okay. So this is what I have. So I'm going to, just duplicate this. Yeah, I'm going to duplicate it. Now, I need to clear us something. So if you are designing, the normal frame size we are using, the height is 812. But since I actually want my food app to be scrollable, so that is why I increase it. So there's no particular, when you're designing for a longer screen, for a long space, when you're designing a responsive landing page, it doesn't have a particular, like your focus should be determine how the width will be, but the height determine it doesn't mean that because I'm designing food, you want to use the exact height I'm using. But as long as you pick this particular frame, just concentrate on the width. Forget about the height. The height determines what and what will be on your landing page. Okay, like now in this my own, I'm actually going to increase it more because I want this screen, the design to be scrollable. So I'm going to bring these guys. I'm going to take it down and increase my home page. Okay, so let's make our home page long. I want this, if I scroll on, you should be able to scroll long. But because of there is no time, so I'm just going to, I'm just going to duplicate it. But in your own case, you can, just duplicate it and then, change the name and then the images. But in this aspect, I'm just going to duplicate it. But when we are playing around with the scrollable, so you will see. So the only thing I'm going to do, I'm going to change this dot colors. I'm just going to change the dot colors. So that when we are scrolling, you will see that it's the colors. It's actually interacting. So I'm going to make this auto layout. I'm going to click on this. So I'm going to Control D, Control D, Control D, Control D, Control D, Control D. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to change those card colors. Now I'm going to change the colors so that when we are playing around with interaction, that it is actually moving. So I'm going to come to this place here and colors. So I'm going to, this one is going to be, so I'm going to hold it together. So this is going to be, so let's make this one green. So I'm going to come to selected color, then to click out, come here and then make this one green. So I'm going to make it green. So this is going to be green. This is going to be blue. So this is going to be, so I'm going to click here. This is going to be, so I'm going to take it out, come here. So this is going to be blue. Like this, so I remember, like, so you see the colors when we are playing around with it. So going your own aspect, they're going to change the name, the image, and maybe the pricing. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? I got this content. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, man.
We can hear you, ma.
Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
I'm going to change this color to purple. So this is going to be purple. So let's use purple. So I want to be, let me zoom out. So I have green, blue, purple. So let's work on this. So this is going to be orange. So the next one is going to be lemon. So the next one is going to be yellow. We've not used yellow, right? So the next one is going to be yellow. And maybe we can leave the first one to be our brand primary color. Pink. Let's use this dark. Let's use this particular one, darker shade of purple. This is the first one. Okay, so let's change this one to be another color. So we're going to use let's use the shade of red. Okay, we can use brown for this. So this is what we have. So I just change the color so that when we are playing around with it, you can know that it's actually screwable. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to click on this. So I'm going to get my bottom navigation. So I'm going to come to this place. There's no need to drag it. So what you just do, you just click on it and then bring it out, like duplicate it. So just hold your Alt key, click on it, hold your Alt key, and drag it out. So once I drag it out, this is how it's going to be. So I'm going to, what's going on? So I'm going to bring it inside there now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to always remember to rename your frame. Or don't be like your tutor that doesn't rename. So make sure you rename. So I'm going to click on prototype here. I'm going to click out. So once I click out, I'm going to show me no device. So the device I'm using is frame size is 378, so which is iPhone 13. So I'll click on this. Now this is how I want it to be. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to come to preview. Click on this play icon. Yeah. I'll click on preview. So once I click on preview. When I click on preview, I will allow the frame to load so I can set my bottom navigation and then we'll start working on the prototyping. Not prototyping, although it's interaction, because it's just interaction on one screen. I'm not doing prototyping for multiple screens. So let's wait for it to load. Okay, so it has load now. It's my I've seen when, so I've seen where I will keep my bottom navigation. So I'm going to keep it here. So I'm going to take it like this, and then I'm going to bring it inside here. Now once I'm bringing it inside, remember I did everything auto layout, so it's going to try to move itself inside. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to kill this, and then I will leave it. Because if you try to force it inside, because of those things is in auto layout, it will just swallow it up. So what I'm going to do, I'll just come to my design here. I will just, use my setting to set it this way. So once I set it this way, now you see where it is. Then all you have to do is just hold the arrow key and then start dragging it down till it gets to the position. Till it gets to the position you want it to be. So this is what I know. Now it has gotten to the position where I want it to be. Now this is the display of how your screen will look like. Now if I click on this phone screen now and move my icon, you see that everything is actually just moving. Everything is moving. But now I don't want everything to move. Now if you check now, you see that our bottom navigation actually moved. So even the status bar, even the notification, even our name, even the search icon, everything just move away. Now we're going to actually fix something. Like I want is my bottom navigation to be fixed, and I also want all those places from this time to this search bar to be fixed. The only thing that should scroll should be this banner, food category, restaurants, special snacks. That's the only thing I want. I want I want them to just scroll. So first, please let me do something. So the first thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to come to my prototype here. I'm still clicking on the bottom navigation. So I'm going to come to my prototype here. I'll click on prototype. Now position, how do you want it to be? I want it to be fixed at a place. That's what I want. Now let's see what to do. So when I click here, now you can see that my bottom navigation is now fixed at a point. So the only thing moving is all these things. Now in this aspect, now everything in this screen is moving. Now the next thing is I don't want this time to this search bar to move. So what are we going to do? Remember what we did in the last class, where we are trying to fix something to a position. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to come back to my design. So you can leave this thing here, just leave it to this to check your log. So I'm going to zoom out. So I'm going to get this rectangle. So I'm going to get a rectangle. I'm going to place them outside. I already know the width. The width is 375. So but now I don't know the height, so I'm just going to play around with the heights. This is 7.5. So I'm going to make it white. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to hold this and this. So I'm going to hold this and this and then make them in auto layout. So I'm going to name them auto. So making them auto layout is actually going to be minus something or 0. Okay, yeah, 0. It's going to be 0. So I'm going to hold this to then make it auto layout. So I think I don't want my frame color to be white. So I'm just going to make it a bit darker. Like I'll remove it from white so that all these things like this shadow will be visible enough. So I'm going to come here, then I'll play around with the color. So I'll just come here and just take it out from being white a little bit ahead. So all those things I did will be visible enough. So I'm just going to pick it up a little. So yeah, I think this is okay. So I'm going to take this out. So once I take this, and now you can start after doing it auto layout, you can choose to add your block, you can choose not to add your block. But in this aspect, I'm not going to add this rectangle block. So I'll just add it, give it a fake color here. So I just give it a fake color here. So once I give it a fake color, this is how it's going to look like. I can see that the fake color is now here. So I think I'm okay with this fake color. So I'm just going to get my color picker and then pick this color. Yeah, pick this color. So let's play. I'm not okay with this background color. It's giving me this dusty kind of shade of white. So I'm not going to take it off a little. I think I'm okay with EFEF. Sorry, FEFE. So I'm just going to come here and then type it FEFEFE. So FEFEFE. Yeah, I think I'm okay with this shade. So now come to prototype here and then do the same thing, fix, stay in place. Now let's go to our interaction, our phone screen. Now you can see that now you can see that this is actually now fixed in the position. So this is now fixed and this is now fixed. So now I want this guys to scroll here, this full category. I want to scroll this way, and I also want this one to scroll that way. So I'll go back to my prototype. I'll click on this. Now this is why I want it to scroll. So I'm just going to not have reduced it when design. I've already reduced it to be the same width size, so it will be easier for me. So I'm going to come here and say scroll vertically. So let's see. Sorry, not vertical, horizontal. Sorry. So I'm going to make it to scroll horizontal. And you can see that it is now scrolling horizontally. You can see that it's now scrolling horizontally. So I'm also going to do the same thing for popular restaurants. So I'm just going to come here and say scroll horizontally. Now we're just going to apply the same. I'm going to apply the same way here. This is actually long. Now everything now you can see that we've pinned this. Now I want a situation when I scroll and get to this point, I should be able to scroll only this. Like I should be able to scroll on only this one so that these guys will not move. But this time around, if I scroll, you can see that everything is actually scrolling. So I want a position where I should be able to scroll only those guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here. So I'm going to come back to my design. I'll give it a big color. So I'll give it a fill. So I've given it a fill, this color, our background color. So I'm going to now, it will now be scroll vertically. So I'm going to click here. So now let's look at what we've done. And if we want to make any changes, we can come here and correct the, our prototype if it's not correct. So I'm going to, so let's see. Okay. Now you can see it's actually working, but the reason why it's not working very well is because everything just pour out. So now this is what I'm going to do now. Let's do the same way we reduce these guys here. Let's do this one the same way. So I'm going to scroll out. So I'm going to bring these guys and then maybe stop it at number here. I'm going to stop here. Okay. Let's stop here. So let's stop here, and then I'm going to hold. So I'm going to reduce now. I'm not going to reduce my frame. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to click on this here, and then I'll zoom out and reduce my frame size to, where did I stop? Number what? Okay, let me click on, okay, this is where I stop. So I'm going to hold it here and then stop at this. So that I want my interaction to, to scroll very well. So I've reduced it now. So this is how it's going to be. So instead of making it to be too long. So this is how it's going to look like. So let's test what we've done. So I'm going to scroll. So I have my card. My food category can go left and right. Can slide left and right or swipe left and right. This can go this way. So if you have all popular restaurants, like the list of popular restaurants, so once you click on see, or it will now take us straight to that page, which is the previous assignment that we did. So you're going to apply that. Now let's scroll on these special snacks. So you can see that if I scroll on it now, you can see that it has actually scrolled on top. Now I don't want it to scroll this way. I want it to go under, like I want it to scroll under. So now this is where I'm going to play around with filling some things and then moving it to the bottom. Now I don't want this to happen. I want if you scroll, you should scroll under this special snag, like under. Now let's come. Okay, we're already in design. So I'm going to come here. So I'm going to take let's leave this guy. Let's just turn off the eye. Let's click on it and then turn it off. Like turn the turn the eye off. Like I want to work on something. So now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to bring this my rectangle here. So let's put it this way. I'll bring it this place. So from here, so I'm going to just place it from here. So I want it to be from here. Okay, let's take it down a little from here. And then I will just let me delete these guys. I don't need them. So I'm just going to click this and then take it to this part here. So once I take it to this part, oh, it's now more than, oh, I'm going to bring it down a little bit. So I'm just going to bring it inside. Remember we did something auto layout. So once you just bring it and you just move inside, just gently, do it gently so that it will not scatter your auto layout. Or if it doesn't work this way, you just come to your menu and your layouts here, menu here, and then do it manually. So I'm just going to continue this my pattern. So I'm going to continue like slowly drag it inside. I see that it has gone inside. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to set it here. So I'm going to set it here now. So once I set it here, this is how it's going to look like. Now I want only this guy. Now you can see that it has covered this guy. It has covered. So now I want, if I scroll now, you can see that it will go under. You can see that it will go under. But now in this aspect, it has covered my design. You can see that it has actually worked, but this aspect has covered my design. So I'm just going to take it down. Like come to this layer now, and this is where I'm just going to stay and set it. So close now. So I'm going to click on the home screen. So it's on the home, sorry, I think it was login. Let me change the name so that it will be easier for me. So let me put it main home screen. I think I already have a frame named home screen. So I'm going to use main home screen or home page, anyone. So I already have this here. So I'm just going to come here. This is where I'm going to stay and set it. So this is why it's always good to always name your frame. So let me check. I think this is the rectangle here. So I'm trying to get the name of this one. So the name of this one is actually 72. So I'm going to hold this 79. So this is 79, and I'm going to hold this, the rectangle, and then I'm going to bring it down. Like I'll take it down. So you just use your bracket key, not the one of 9 and 0, the one close to the slash, and take it down. So once I've taken it down, then I'm going to test what I've done. So I'm going to test my prototype to see if what I did actually worked. So let's test it and see. Now you can see that it's working. Now you can see that it is working. So if I scroll normal, see it. Now if I scroll, I can now scroll like this. And then I'll have to see the different colors scrolling. So now remember we turn off our bottom navigation. So I'm going to scroll up. Now. So you just see it where it's separated from the fix and off. So I'm going to turn on my bottom navigation. So I'll just scroll to the top of the frame. It's just there fixed. I'm in a resonance view. So let me click. Maybe let me click on. Let me click on the first fixed element. The second one will come ahead. Look at it. So I'm just going to click on this and then it turns off. So I'm going to test what all the things I've done here. So I'm going to scroll up here. So I'm going to see this. Now you can see that this is the end of the page. Like this is the end of the page. But if you want to scroll in this, so you now scroll like this. And then you can now scroll up like this. So this is the end of the page. Like the bottom of the page is the lemon. So you can just keep your cursor this way and then scroll like this. So I think we'll have to end here. Do you have any question to ask? Do we have questions to ask?